The first Five Nights at Freddy's was a surprising movie. I mean, while it wasn't the scariest, it did provide a great entry point for those looking to get into horror. Well, the sequel is now here. So should you revisit the creepy animatronics of the abandoned pizza place, or is it better to just sit this one out? 1 year has passed since the nightmare at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The stories about what transpired there have been twisted into a campy local legend, inspiring the town's first ever Fazfest. Former security guard Mike and police officer Vanessa have kept the truth from Mike's sister Abby about the fate of her animatronic friends. But when Abby sneaks out to reconnect with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, it will set into motion a terrifying series of events, revealing dark secrets about the true origins of Freddy's and unleashing a long-forgotten horror hidden away for decades. So once again, we're treated to a PG-13 semi-tame horror. And unlike the recent PG-13 Predator Badlands film that showcased a bunch of violence without red blood, here we don't get to see as much of the violence, but we do get to see the red stuff splatter across the screen. Now, the cast from the first movie returns with a few new additions in some minor roles. There's Wayne Knight, McKenna Grace, and re-teaming with his Scream buddy Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich makes an appearance. The story here focuses more on the events that kicked off the entire killing spree that then led to the possessed animatronics. We're taken to the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and we get to see a heartbreaking and lonely sequence that's then going to serve as the foundation for the rest of the horrors that we watch play out. Now, the lore is effective, and although the story doesn't delve too heavily into all that transpires, the point is made so that we can quickly get into the point of the movie, and that's to see demonic robots wreak some havoc. Admittedly, Charles E. Cheese adjacent robots, they're unsettling, but there's a new visual that we get this time. It's freaky. I mean, I got chills the first time it was introduced, and then through subsequent actions, it became even more of a nope. And some of the character design and makeup, it looks very similar to another horror icon that happens to dwell in the sewers, but this still has its own twist to make it horrifying and wrong. The story progression, it works to capture an efficient and moving story, but the majority of the acting, it just comes across as stiff and uncertain. Josh Hutcherson and Elizabeth Lally, who play Mike and Vanessa respectively, their dialogue delivery, it's stoic and typically lacks a lot of dynamics. Now, there are a few scenes where this isn't true, but on the whole, they feel disinterested in what's going on and in each other. And some of this could be because the story's attempting to hint at a possible romance between the two, but their chemistry, it just didn't click. Piper Rubio, who portrays Abby, she does a decent job of being a believable 11-year-old who's lonely and kind of an outcast. I wish this story had given her more to do emotionally than just mope around and be depressed. Even when she's having success or a good time, she doesn't come across as having any sort of joy. I mean, it does make her a sympathetic character, but it also makes her very flat, which is right in line with several of the other characters. I appreciate that the story still retains some comedic moments too. There's not a ton of them, but the bits we get, they usually land, especially with Hutcherson towards the end. His timing and delivery break Mike out of this detached and placid demeanor to create some moments that elicited a bunch of chuckles throughout the theater. And because this is more of another entry-level horror, I am able to overlook some of the wonky plot devices and actions. Like towards the end, when a threat is still very present, everybody lets their guard down and just calmly leaves the setting. It's like they all instantly forgot what they had just been dealing with, and then their collective amnesia made them all tranquil and collected. I mean, while by itself, this is not a huge deal. There are some further sequences, though, that the story delivers that these then come across as sudden and abrupt. So despite the cold and wooden performances and some rushed elements within the plot, I did have fun with Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The creep factor is effective, thanks especially to a new creature addition, conjuring up images that are nightmare fuel, especially when combined with choreographed movements designed to make the hair stand on end. The darker tone of the plot, along with the overarching loneliness a character's face, creates an ominous and foreboding atmosphere that leans into the unsettling narrative arc. This isn't the scariest or most freaky movie, but it's still a good option for those who haven't ventured too far into horror and want to get a taste before diving headfirst into the deep end of the genre. And don't leave before the credits are over. There's mid and post-credit content that you won't want to miss. There's no sex or nudity, a little profanity, then a bunch of violence. I give Five Nights at Freddy's 2 3 out of 5 couches. Okay, so what do you think are some good entry-level horrors for people to get accustomed to the genre? No telling horror newbies to check out Martyrs or something messed up like that. I mean, play nice. I would love to see some recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.